Our weekly immigration news roundup is brought to you by the law firm of Figueroa and Associates. For consultation on any immigration or legal matter, please call 855-768-8845. That's 855-768-8845. For full stories and more immigration news, visit www.theimmigrantsjournal.com. That's www.theimmigrantsjournal.com.
Hello, my name is Mary Campbell, legal assistant at the law firm of Figueroa and Associates, and your presenter with this week's immigration news. GOP proposed U.S. remittance tax could harm Caribbean families and economies. A 5% U.S. remittance tax could reduce funds sent to Caribbean countries like Jamaica and Haiti. This could have implications for families and economies in the region. A new tax proposal in the United States, backed by House Republicans and part of former President Donald Trump's renewed tax agenda, could seriously harm Caribbean families who rely on money transfers from relatives abroad. The bill, which has passed the House Ways and Means Committee, includes a 5% tax on remittances sent by non-U.S. citizens. These transfers, also known as remittances, are a vital financial lifeline for families across the Caribbean, especially in countries like Haiti, Jamaica, and the Dominican Republic. The remittance tax is part of a larger package that includes extensions of the 2017 Trump tax cuts, new tax breaks for tipped workers, and increased spending on border security. However, the proposed tax on personal money transfers has become one of the bill's most controversial elements. Why remittances are crucial for the Caribbean? Remittances are one of the most significant and stable sources of income for many Caribbean nations. These funds help families cover essentials like food, housing, school fees, and medical bills. In times of economic instability, they serve as a critical financial cushion. Haiti. According to the World Bank, remittances represent approximately 24% of the country's GDP. Jamaica. Remittances make up more than 17% of the national GDP, supporting education, healthcare, and small businesses. Dominican Republic. The country receives billions in annual remittances, which help drive both consumption and savings. These funds are more than just personal income. They are economic engines that fuel communities and national development, said Caribbean economist Carlos Ramirez. If the proposed tax is enacted, many fear it will reduce money flow to the Caribbean, harming millions who depend on it for day-to-day survival. Concerns about informal transfers and economic disruption. Experts warn that taxing remittances could push senders toward informal and potentially unsafe channels, bypassing official services like Western Union or banks. This could make money flow harder to track, less secure, and more susceptible to fraud or loss. People may avoid official transfer networks to escape the tax, said Michelle Mittelstadt, Director of Communications at the Migration Policy Institute. That could reduce the overall amount of money reaching families and undermine progress on poverty reduction. Economists also worry the tax could lead to further migration as workers seek ways to earn enough to support loved ones under the new financial burden. Caribbean and Latin American leaders push back. Leaders across the region are speaking out against the proposal. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum called it arbitrary and unjust, emphasizing that remittances are the fruit of honest labor and benefit both the U.S. and Latin American economies. In the Caribbean, where entire communities rely on diaspora support, governments are expected to raise the issue through diplomatic channels. Taxing remittances is essentially taxing survival, said one regional advocacy group. Some countries could lose 20% of their GDP. Noah Gordon, a fellow at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, highlighted the potential consequences in a post on X, formerly Twitter. The House bill includes a 5% tax on remittances sent by non-U.S. citizens. It'd be a heavy blow for countries that get 20% of their GDP from remittances, like Haiti, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, and Nicaragua. The Caribbean is among the most affected regions, with many low and middle-income families depending entirely on remittances to meet their basic needs. What's next? The bill still needs to become law. House Speaker Mike Johnson aims to bring the legislation to a full vote by Memorial Day, but internal Republican disagreements over spending cuts and state tax issues could slow progress. For now, Caribbean communities in the U.S. are being urged to speak out. * Call local representatives. * Use social media to raise awareness. * Support advocacy organizations pushing to block the tax. This isn't just about a policy change. It's about the future of families across the Caribbean who rely on every dollar their relatives send home, said one Caribbean diaspora leader in New York. Remittance tax could undermine Caribbean economic stability. As the debate unfolds in Washington, Caribbean nations and diaspora communities are watching closely. A remittance tax could cut off a vital source of income, weaken regional economies, and widen poverty in some of the most vulnerable nations in the Western Hemisphere.
Our weekly immigration news roundup is brought to you by the law firm of Figueroa & Associates. For consultation on any immigration or legal matter, please call 855-768-8845. That's 855-768-8845. For full stories and more immigration news, visit www.theimmigrantsjournal.com. That's www.theimmigrantsjournal.com.